Welcome back. In this episode, we're going to talk about the creative team. This is chapter 4. We're going to talk about the creative team. We're going to talk about choosing a model, tips for selecting the models that fit the aesthetic of your shoot. We're going to talk about giving models direction, styling, how to work with a stylist and perfect the wardrobe and accessories, makeup and hair, and what to do if the model doesn't show up, developing your own style, learning from famous photographers. The list goes on. And then maybe doing an internship, working with agencies in PR, getting represented by an agency or working for yourself. Now, from experience, and I've worked with tons of models. From all the models I've worked with, I can count at least 2 or 3 models that completely just striking. Choosing the right model is very critical. The thing of it is, when you have an elite team, you're gonna get an elite results. Having the best models, having the best stylists, the best photography, the best makeup, if you can. But if you're up and coming, at least work with the up and coming that have some sort of talent. But the difference between a talented makeup artist and an up and coming makeup artist is huge. It's different. Now, when choosing a model for a photo shoot, there are several factors to consider. Obviously, the most important is the aesthetic and the look, and does the model fit the brand, the image. Just like brand, for example, some brands use different models. Some brands use certain models to fit the aesthetic. So, for example, Calvin Klein will have a look, Olive still have a look, maybe Ralph Lauren has a look, Tommy Hilfiger has a look. Another factor is appearance of the model, and does this include the shape of the body? Do you want a tall model, a short model, or should it be physically suited for clothes? Do you want a slender model? It's entirely up to you. And also, the most important thing is experience, experience is the most important thing. It's very important to consider diversity of the models, includes and representation of other factors. So, for example, there's a thing called universal appeal. Sometimes you might see brands that they want to reach a bigger audience. So, for example, they might use an Asian model, an African model, a European model, an Indian model. So, it really all just depends on the campaign, on the objective, on the look. Just like Abercrombie and Fitch back in the day, it used to be for softer, like preppy white guys, and you might have Polo Ralph Lauren, which is very inclusive to everyone. Everyone wears polo, but when you see polo, they tend to use like African American models. They use white models. They use different models for different part of their brand. So keep this in mind at the back of your mind. Giving the model direction is very important. Sometimes the model might just sit there and you can't get anything out of the model. What you really want to do is just give them direction, especially with male models. You might have to pose them, you might have to stand and show them. With the models, you might have to place them, move them around, tell them to try this pose, and try that pose, and try this pose. Making sure you communicate with the models. But if the models are experienced, usually you don't have to give them too much direction. If not, you would have to take charge of the photo shoot. Otherwise, you might not get the results that you're looking for. Now, overall, the key is to have a model that can take direction and that are willing to listen and deliver the results. Sometimes the models just stand there just to look pretty. Sometimes the model is just flexible. Sometimes they're really in tune. They're in the zone with the photo shoot. It really all depends. Now, styling is key. Okay, if you get a great stylist, just from experience, it's the best stylist I know have access to some of the best clothes. If you get a great stylist, it makes a huge difference. And I have to say, sometimes stylists are not underpaid, are undervalued when it comes to photography and photo shoots. The clothes makes and break as well as the model, because the model face comes across, especially nowadays where you're trying to convey, there's so many brands out there and you need the right models. Sometimes you just need a model with a personality that connects with the audience. You need to know who are you trying to sell to, and then try to make sure that the customers can see themselves in the model, or at least that they fit the profile. So, for example, if you're selling to men over 45, it wouldn't make sense to just only have younger models where the suits. You'd have to have a model within that age range. In addition to just clothing, the stylist is also will be responsible for accessories, jewelry, props, and all that kind of stuff. Now the next one is makeup and hair. Makeup and hair is very crucial to the photo shoot. Sometimes you might have to do multiple hairstyle, multiple makeup. I know it sounds a lot, but from experience, these are very crucial. This is how you get the best shoot. You may have 3 different looks. Sometimes you want the model to have a slick look. You want a different makeup look. These are all essential stuff that matters when it comes to makeup and hair. Having a really talented makeup artist goes a really long way, and building a personal relationship with them whenever you need them is fantastic. As long as you have a team that's reliable, and if the client has a budget for the shoot, then 100% you're gonna have the right people working with you that are gonna understand your image and deliver the result. And obviously, if you're working with different models, skin tones, so if you're working with models of your type of skin tone, you can either tell the makeup artist to bring makeup that will suit their skin tones, just from experience, or you can ask the model to bring their own makeup and the makeup artist can do it for them. Vice versa, if you're working with if you're working with a model that a light skin tone, and I would assume as a makeup artist you might have experience in doing that kind of skin tone. If not, just make sure the makeup artist have enough makeup that they can use in different skin tones. Now, what to do if the model doesn't show up for a paid shoot? Now, if a model doesn't show up for a paid shoot, the step is try to contact the model, find out why. If it's an agency model, they're using a professional. If you have a model on speed dial, you might have another model on speed dial as a backup that can come to your rescue. But this is the worst thing that can happen, that you can have everybody planned, organized the shoot, done everything that it needs to do, and then the model doesn't show up. Now, in some cases, you might have to reschedule the shoot, which often happens sometimes. But if you can't reschedule the shoot, you probably just need to find a replacement model ASAP. Sometimes I've even seen, from experience, remember I had a photo shoot with a female model, and the model didn't show up. It was a type of print photo shoot, but the makeup artist stepped in. Funny enough, and the makeup artist stepped in, and the shoot turned out great.